Gold. Thank
Yeah,
you, Mr. Iota.
it was actually very interesting. Well, we'll talk about that later on. But it being at a HBCU yesterday, and seeing all the parents with their Greek paraphernalia on.
Did you
Including-
rock yours?
yes, I
Did
did.
you? Well, see, I mean, I think so you can do that if you're the opposite gender of your child. I think because
Mm,
if your hope is that you want at an HBCU, I'm telling you right now, you are of the same gender as your child, and they intend to pledge the fraternity or sorority that you pledged, then the last thing you want the young people on campus to know when you roll up there because they're being assisted by upper class persons,
mhm.
the upperclassmen, but upper class persons. And so what's going to happen? They're going to look like, okay, so you're daddy frat, huh? Yeah, all right. Got a target on your back day one. You want to let your children slide in and not put a target on their back. Believe me, I speak from experience on this one. It's true.
I hear you. I hear you. Yes, my daughter's got interested in sorority, but I told her, I said, don't tell anybody. I said, don't say a word to anybody about
Tell her I'm interested in the NAACP.
that. That's it right there.
I want to pledge the Urban League. Oh boy, it's the Power Hour, folks. We are glad to be here today on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, and or as other people say, our show is just a couple of old guys sitting around McDonald's drinking coffee.
There you go.
I got mine, and listen, sitting across from me in his dashiki.
Positive.
Yeah, that is bad though. Seriously, Bishop Dwayne David Royster.
And sitting across from me is the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler.
And the glue holding it all together is none other than the queen herself, Kawesa.
Kawesa.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, you sound real cheery today. I know tomorrow's Friday. No, today's Friday. Oh, that's why you sound cheery. Okay, I got it. I got it. How you doing, Kawesa?
I'm doing okay. How are the both of you doing?
It's all good.
I'm tired. I'm gonna be honest. I'm
Same.
tired.
Same.
It's some mornings when that alarm goes off in the morning. I'm sort of like, why am I doing this? So, yes. That is my thing. Anyway, how was your ride in today?
Not too bad. I got stuck behind a couple trucks. So I was like, like gripping the steering wheel, like, gosh, please, just hurry up. But yeah, besides that, it really actually wasn't, the traffic wasn't too bad. I just was unfortunate enough to get stuck behind slow people. That's really what happened. But as far as like the people on either side of me, they were moving quickly. So, and then the weather, it's muggy. I mean, it's not as bad though. It's not, I will say it doesn't feel as like humid and sticky as it's been like the past couple of days, but it's still warm. So yeah, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. Right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Folk need to be safe out there today. It's gonna get hot.
Yeah.
It's gonna get hot.
Bro, you want to talk about hot? I know some of you all think like the ultimate trip is a European vacation to a romantic country like Italy, walking through like a wine country and all of that stuff. Sicily hit 119 degrees yesterday.
Wow. Wow.
119.87 or something. I'm like, why are they not just saying it's 120?
Mm,
Sicily.
mm. You ought to check it out to see what the wine this year will taste like in the years to come.
That's interesting.
No, it will. It'll impact the grapes. So yeah, it'll just be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, bro. So it's yeah, so it is yeah, it is hot. But luckily relief is on the way. Just one more day of like severe heat, and then after that, things go back to what we consider normal for the month of August. Um, so we're going to talk to Deborah Wee this morning, and glad that all of you all are with us on today. Deborah is a national organizer with the Zen Institute, Zen Education Project, excuse me. And they are They're really helping to organize the resistance against all of the pushback against CRT, critical race theory, a la 1619 Project, also known as just telling the truth, like George Washington's teeth.
Just a little bit.
Like his teeth weren't wooden, they came from enslaved people. Like, not they wouldn't have found them, but like they were their teeth. And so critical race theory says you got to talk about that. Others say, no, 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 no. We must not talk about that. And they're organizing teachers around the country. It's actually a really great story that we hope to cover in multiple ways and have different voices come on. And at some point, look, since some people say, you're not diverse, you don't have enough diverse opinions on your program, I'm happy, I'm sure Bishop is happy, to hear from anybody who wants to argue about why we should not have critical race theory, if they're bold enough to come on this program to talk about it.
Well, there's actually in the burbs right outside of Philly on the main line, one of the big organizations that's organizing against critical race theory is here in Pennsylvania, which, I have to keep reminding people, you do realize we're north of the Mason-Dixon line. this is my big thing I've been talking about with folk from Pennsylvania that, support Trump and racism and all that other stuff. I'm like, we've always been north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Allegedly.
So, yeah, Pennsylvania is actually the northernmost southern state in America, but that's all the story. It really is, though.
Yeah. So before we get into that, and like I said, should be on in the next segment, do you have thoughts at all about the fall of Afghanistan?
Yeah. I mean, it was destined to happen. I mean, nobody has ever been able to win a war in Afghanistan. The Russians couldn't do it.
Not even Afghanistan. Not even the Afghan people. Nobody.
Yeah. It's nobody's been able to win a war in Afghanistan. I mean, we were there way too long. And it is destined to happen. And I think the administration realized.
Bishop, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I muted. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Thank you. How much did you miss all of that? Just
I'm like, bro, you just, I'm like scrambling on because it's always a problem with me. And so I'm over here just like silently like frantic about what just went out on my end.
No, I'm trying to figure out how it got muted because I didn't even touch the laptop. But anyway,
who got you? The Taliban.
The Taliban. Yeah. Well, I mean, actually, I think that this is one of those situations where nobody's ever won a war in Afghanistan. I don't know that we're going to, it's just a really sad situation, and it probably is going to be a change in the name of the country. It will be new laws. Sharia law will be instituted in that place, and it's going to be a very different and difficult place to be. So it's an unfortunate circumstance. But if this is what the people want, then that's their choice.
Well, yeah, I mean, so it's laughable in this moment are places like the New York Post, whose editorial board wrote, and I give you the headline, "This Afghan route is entirely on Joe Biden." All right.
No,
now, I mean, of course not. And I know the New York Post has, they have a particular slant on the way that they view the world, and they are opinionated just like we're opinionated. Their opinion on this matter just happens to be just flat out wrong. I mean, you want to put it on one person, put it on George W. Bush.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go back to the very beginning.
That's right.
There was an agenda to begin with, and I think Barack Obama showed them that, yes, there is a problem within Afghanistan, and there is a group that is out to kill us, and to go in strategically and to neutralize that, but to try to take over a country that Russia, I mean, the Russians were laughing at us in 2003.
Oh, absolutely.
They were like, did you all not see the 70s?
Absolutely.
Like, be our guest. And now you try. Like, two superpowers in a row got there, got bogged down, and could not move forward. And so predictably, as the United States forces pull out, I mean, think about this, an almost 20-year investment of human life, of billions and billions and billions of dollars. It's got to be in the trillions at this point, of aid and of military force and everything else. And like the moment you walk out, like a rubber band that someone has been holding, you know, expanded, and you let it go, it pops right back to what it was. I mean, there's not even a fight. The only major city left, capital city left, is Kabul. Yep. And everything else, they're saying that the troops that were trained by us are either running away or changing uniforms as they show up. Like, hey, what took you so long? You know, tell me what the new mission is.
Right. And I mean, what's even sad about that is that you consider all the lives, the American lives that were lost over there in this battle over the course of the last 20 years.
Oh, my God.
And, you know, the money that was spent, we would have just been better off just going to the Afghan government and saying, here's the money we would spend over the next 20 years. You all take it, hire military, get mercenaries, do whatever you need to do to win, and let us know how it goes, rather than sacrificing, you know, human life for a war that doesn't appear that's going to end. I mean, if you consider the fact that Russians left, I mean, it was not too long after the Russians left that we showed up. And when you consider that Afghanistan has been in some level of war for the last 50 years. That is, you know, I mean, it's a war country. It's just constantly in a state of war. And, you know, at some point you just got to say enough is enough.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's some real issues in this world that, again, I think if Afghanistan did not remind us of anything, it should have reminded us of this, that you cannot solve every problem with a gun.
That's right.
With troops, with soldiers. I mean, think about the gun violence problem in our country, right? The knee-jerk reaction is, we need more cops on the street. That'll fix it. So, I mean, people tell me all the time about, well, when Nutter was mayor, he and Ramsey fixed this. Okay, if you call depriving, you know, due process to several 100,000 Black Philadelphians who every year were, you know, stopped and frisked, who had nothing, and, you know, a climate of fear and just unleashing the police on the entire populace, if you call that public safety, then okay, I guess it worked. But that's not public safety. What's in the best interest of public safety is creating a world where there are not extreme haves and have-nots.
That's right. That's right.
A world free of the vile types of exploitation that we have seen, where people stockpile goo-gobs of money to the detriment of other people, and create poverty deserts throughout the world, and then you wonder why people turn around and want to kill you.
Right.
I'm just saying, and I'm not saying it's just that, because it is much more complicated than that. But when you look at our own country, when you look at around the world, we continue to think that we can put down any type of, I don't know, uprising, whatever it is, with force. It doesn't happen. It does not happen, folk. Not like that. And so, you know, again, our prayers for the Afghan people, many of whom are going to really suffer, particularly women.
That's right.
Yeah. And again, to all the service people in this country who are probably shaking their heads right now thinking, what the hell did I just do? I mean, you know, I don't even know what to say to you. And especially to those who paid the ultimate price and gave the life of their loved one, and to the people of that nation as well. But we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Deborah Wee about the pushback against critical race theory and what organizers are doing to stand up and to fight. It's critical race truth, I think, as Bernita said in the Facebook chat. This is the Power Hour. Don't go anywhere. Hit the share button. Bring your friends and your family. Bring your people to the program. We'll be right back.
The hottest place to hang out this summer is the Dell Music Center. The lineup is lit. Thursday, August 5th, 10. Who came to make sweet love, not me. SWV. And Drew Hill. Then on August 12th, Gregory Porter, Stokely, and Leela James. Then on Thursday, August 19th, Fresh Off versus the Isley Brothers. Performing all their greatest hits with Kelly Price and Carol Riddick. Get your tickets at the Dell box office and Ticketmaster.com. This is going to be an incredible season with Tank, SWV, Drew Hill, Gregory Porter, Stokely, Leela James, Carol Riddick, Kelly Price, and the Isley Brothers. For more information, log on to the DellMusicCenter.com.
Build skills needed for employment through the Philadelphia Skills Forward Initiative, a free upskilling program for workers displaced by the pandemic, those whose jobs are at risk for automation, and Black and brown workers. Complete courses focused on digital literacy, career management, and professional skills for a successful career. Get started today at chamberphl.com.
Jefferson Health offers no-cost COVID-19 testing sites at St. Raymond of Pinafore Church. Testing is on Thursdays and Saturdays. Second testing location has been added at Richard Allen Preparatory Charter School. Testing is on Wednesdays and Fridays. For testing hours and more information, visit jeffersonhealth.org/community testing.
Want the latest in Word swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media. You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. You're listening to the Power Hour with Mark Kelly Tyler and Dwayne David Royster. Join WURD for the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year, we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, Northwest, and North Philly. Tiffany Bacon will broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Our next stop is North Philly at the Martin Luther King Recreation Center, 2101 Cecil B. Moore Avenue. Friday, August 13th, that's today. Pick up voter registration information, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the black community. Show your support and join or renew your 4WURD membership on site. That's the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour at the Martin Luther King Recreation Center from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Friday, August 13th. So join our colleague Tiffany Bacon today at 10 o'clock at the Martin Luther King Recreation Center, 2101 Cecil B. Moore Avenue. And have a good time and be safe out there. Bring some water with you when you come. Bring some water. So
bring some water.
Water. You got to bring water. It's a D. It's not a T. It's D. Water. Water. Hey, just want to give a quick shout out to Gary Butler. Renee Mills is out there today. Bernita Francine is there. We see the state rep is watching with us, Dorisha Miller. We see Ed Minner. We see Deborah Lyerly Robinson is with us today. The judge is watching. Judge McCabe is here watching and listening today. Kay Alexander Smallwood, Francine Williams Johnson is there, Barbara Hicks, Edwin Bowles, and so many others that are listening to us via one of the many multimedia places that you can find us here and listen to us every single morning. Catfish Hillbilly is with us, as well as Nikki O. Tim. So appreciate all of you checking us out and being here with us.
Yep, and we certainly appreciate your comments as well. Barbara says, interesting conversation on Afghanistan. I agree that you cannot solve everything with a gun, just as the U.S. cannot save every country. That's right. I mean, listen, on our program, I know we talk a lot about local issues and then things in the United States, but we have an opinion on just about everything, including international affairs. And, maybe if, our government ever cared to listen to everyday people, we wouldn't keep getting into the problems like this. This was, for a lot of our younger people who were not around or who were too young to remember the days immediately following 9/11, they can't fully appreciate this moment. But if you're old enough to really remember it, it's not like what's happening right now as capital city in Afghanistan falls right after the other. It's not like there weren't about 1 billion people who predicted this.
Right.
Like literally.
For all 20 years that we've been there.
It was like...
They were saying it from day one. They're like, why are we going to Afghanistan? This is a bad idea.
Right. It's not like we're somehow saying something that was not said repeatedly in 2000, but from 2001 to 2003, when the ramp up started for both Iraq and Afghanistan. And it's sad that there's been such a loss of human life and such an upheaval in the lives of people that people just didn't listen. So again, it's somewhat predictable, as is going after the truth. Right now, we have someone here who is out to fight for the truth. She is an organizer with the Zen Education Project, and they are mounting a national campaign for the truth. Because there's some people in this country that just don't like the truth. Like, were those insurrectionists, or were they merely tourists taking selfies? Folks, welcome to the Power Hour with Bishop Royster and myself, Deborah Wee. Good morning. Welcome, Deborah.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, let's talk about, Debbie, the Zen Education Project and your work with them. From what I understand, a lot of this, what's going on right now, is the pushback against those who are critical of critical race theory.
Right. We have legislation proposed or passed in at least 28 states. I think when I last looked at the map, 5 states had passed, and a federal bill that was introduced to the Senate passed the Senate, all seeking to ban critical race theory, though none of them actually, or very few of them, mention the term. What they do mention, for example, in the Missouri bill, is such curricula as the 1619 Project from New York Times, the Learning for Justice curriculum of the Southern Poverty Law Center, Black Lives Matter at School, and our own organizations in Education Project. Any curriculum from those similar predecessor or successor curricula is banned.
So, what does that mean?
It means they don't want any discussion of racism whatsoever in the schools, and I think precisely at a time when voting rights are under attack, they certainly don't want anyone to be teaching about the history of Jim Crow or, the fight for voting rights. So it is having a chilling effect on teachers around the country. We've had reports of teachers being called into offices by their principals. Some of the bills threaten teachers themselves with fines or loss of job or loss of teaching licensure. The Daily Wire polled, we have a pledge on our website that says, we, the undersigned educators, refuse to lie to young people about U.S. history and current events. And above that is Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote, one has not only a legal but a moral responsibility to obey just laws. Conversely, one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. We have 6,300 teachers who have signed that pledge, about 6,293. And to date, and as I said, the Daily Wire polled all the names and locations of teachers that have signed the pledge, posted it, sent it to their right-wing operatives and teachers around the country. I have a teacher in Wisconsin who's been blogged about and is being under attack on social media, a teacher in the Seattle area who's had threats sent to her email for physical harm. We do know Jesse Hagopian from Black Lives Matter at School was telling me In Florida, a teacher was fired for hanging a Black Lives Matter flag in her classroom. In Tennessee, a teacher was fired for teaching Ta-Nehisi Coates' essay. It's very, very similar to the 600 teachers who were fired during McCarthyism.
Wow. I know. Yeah, go ahead, Bishop.
No, I was going to say, I mean, really, this is getting back to book banning, right? This is when they were burning books and banning books. They're trying to ban history at this moment in time, and ban truth is really what this comes down to at the end of the day.
Yeah, and right at a time when our school curriculum wasn't always like this. It's been a long fight. And as we're starting to make inroads into challenging, the kind of whitewashed textbook version of curriculum, is now we're seeing the pushback big time. And it's not about, Fred Carr has said, it's not about 1619. This is about 2022.
Wow. So let me ask you a question then about this. So again, we're talking to Debbie Wee, an organizer with the Zen Education Project, and there is a national campaign. We want to make sure we get that info out as well for teachers who may be listening to sign a pledge to teach the truth. But so we're talking about book banning. One of my favorite books is Isabel Wilkinson's The Warmth of Other Suns. And I like it so much because my family, like almost everybody who's here, was impacted by the Great Migration, but we were part of that Western push that is covered by one of the characters in her story, from Arkansas, Oklahoma to California. And in part, my grandfather said the Klan circled their home in Oklahoma, were breaking out windows and telling them to come out, you little black terrapins and things like that. This was a part of the story. It wasn't just about jobs. With her book, Isabel Wilkinson's book, that goes into those kind of details, would that be considered one of the books that would be banned by these 28 states that are attempting to stop teaching what many of us consider to just be the truth?
Yes. I would say absolutely yes. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say. What I do think we're seeing is also, there's a template that legislators getting. This isn't just coming out of nowhere. This is an organized campaign from the right using this term critical race theory, which people are spouting hatred for, but they don't really even know what it is. And it's become a dog whistle, but we won't back down from the term, because it is exactly what we need to understand about race in America. Critical race theory really began in law school, but if I could break it down into really simple terms, it is race is a social construct, which we all understand. It's not biological. It's not like something, it is, there's certain biological functions, I'm sorry. It is not, what doesn't, ethnicity makes sense. You can be from a certain place, speak a certain language, have a certain cultural background, and that makes sense. Race makes no sense. How much blood do you have to have in you to become any given race? So social construct, that racism is systemic and that it's institutional. So it's built into the systems. It's not just, I don't like you because you don't look like me, which is what the old school understanding of racism or definition was. It really is about, and it's not about intent, it's about effect. So, these are things that anyone who's awake in this country right now do understand as being the truth, and that's what they're fighting against.
Bishop?
Yeah. No, I'm sitting here thinking because you brought up the fact that race is a social construct, and that it was. I mean, as I do, Kane Hope Felder, who used to teach at Howard University School of Divinity in New Testament, said race was a construct that's only about 500 years old. The concept of race did not exist prior to 500 years ago, but it was introduced as a methodology to be able to separate peoples and begin to create a hierarchy. And so I was just thinking, as you were talking about, I actually have a chapter in a book called Race in America, How Pseudo-Scientific Concepts Shaped Human Interaction, which was edited by Dr. Patricia Reed Merritt from over at Stockton State. I did a chapter in there on Black Lives Matter with Dr. Steve Ray out of Chicago Theological Seminary. And just the reality of what you were saying, Deborah, is that this is a social construct. It's been designed with a set purpose. It's been manifested and used in a certain way here in this country from its very inception to limit, to control, and to manipulate power for a small minority of people. And you have to take in consideration, for the longest time in this country, white folk were a minority. It wasn't, in the very early days, they were a minority. They were indigenous people here, and then shortly after they started bringing slaves here, they were still a minority, but they managed to maintain control. And so we have to have this conversation, this deep conversation about how race is impacting our nation and our communities, and we have to fight to make sure that it's taught so eventually we will not continue to perpetuate the oppression that started from the very earliest days. So thank you for the fight. I'm actually really curious, how can folk get engaged with you and what you're doing in your organization so that we can support you all in the days ahead?
Well, if there are teachers out there, inviting you to sign the pledge, with an understanding that there is a bill that has been proposed, it has not been passed in Pennsylvania as well. It's working its way through the legislature. So on the Zinn Education website, if you scroll down, you'll see that a link to the pledge, and you can sign on and make a statement. We also invite you to join our Days of Action, which is August 27th to 29th. It looks like, as I look at the spreadsheet, we have 104 actions being planned around the country during that weekend. That is also the weekend of March on Washington. They have endorsed our campaign as well, so we're sort of partnering up here and tying voting rights to what's happening in schools. In Philadelphia, there is an action plan for Friday. It's a teach-in, Friday the 27th at, near the Constitution Center, that area. Teachers will be out there in force. This is a teacher-led resistance, and that, I think, given what has happened this year in terms of COVID, given what's happened this year in terms of funding, and that teachers are being used as pawns in the frontline arsenal in these mass wars. Yeah. They're battling this on top of all of that. And teachers need our support right now. They really need us to stand up. And
hey, Debbie, I'm sorry. I've got to jump in because we're past our break. But let me just say this: I posted it on YouTube and Facebook. Zinn, ZINN Ed Project.org. You all can go there, send that out. We also posted it on our YouTube channel as well. But let me just quickly say, we're going to have other organizers and parents and teachers on over the next several weeks to keep talking about this story. Debbie is the first. She's an organizer of the Zinn Education Project. This is a national campaign, folks. Let's get those signatures up. They're only 100 and I think or so away from their goal of 6,400. Debbie, thank you for getting up this morning and sharing this important information, and keep up the good fight. We're going to see you out there.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We got to take a quick break, folks. It's the Power Hour. When we come back, we'll get your thoughts and your comments. Share them in the comment section on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be right back.
Between family dinners, bedtime stories, and study sessions, Pico knows that life never stops moving. So if you need help paying your energy bills, there are financial programs available, like the Customer Assistance Program, or CAP, that offers a monthly credit that can lower your gas and electricity payments. Learn how PICO can help keep your life moving with CAP. See if you qualify at pico.com/CAP.
Philadelphia Families PHL Pre-K, the city's free quality pre-K program, is growing and now enrolling. Over 160 pre-K centers are ready to serve children this year. There are no income limits for this free pre-K program. Children who are 3 or 4 years old as of September 1 can enroll. Call 844-PHL Pre-K or visit phlprek.org to learn more and find a quality pre-K center. That's 844-745-7735. This program is made possible by the Philadelphia Beverage Tax.
Kamasi Washington brings his fall tour to the Met Philly, one of only 6 dates on the East Coast. Don't miss Kamasi Washington October 20th at the Met Philly. Tickets on sale now as of July 30th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. Get in and get seen at the Einstein Orthopedics Fracture Care Clinic. If you think you've broken a bone or have been told by your doctor that you have a fracture, the Einstein Fracture Care Clinic offers same-day, in-person, or telehealth appointments. We don't just give you peace of mind. Einstein Orthopedics provides answers when you need them. Visit einstein.edu/fracturecare to learn more.
WURD Founders Day. Don't miss our annual Founders Day live broadcast and celebration, Thursday, August 26th, honoring the life and legacy of our founder, Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD, featuring a very special broadcast of a ceremonial street naming for Dr. Lomax from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. at 1800 Wharton Street, the site of his first medical center. Hosted by Charles Ellison. The day will also include a series of virtual panels and conversations exploring health, wealth, and independent media. Start or renew your forward membership on Founders Day at the special discounted rate of just $80. For more information about WURD Founders Day, visit WURDradio.com. WURD Radio Founders Day is brought to you by PICO, Keystone First, Bank of America, Ready Set Philly, Comcast, Brown's Family ShopRite, Temple University, and Councilmember Kenyatta Johnson, 2nd District. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
This report's sponsored by Smart Mouth, the only 24-hour mouthwash with twice daily use. Some volume getting busy on the Schuylkill Expressway eastbound side. You're going to find late volume Montgomery through Girard. Westbound City at the Belmont beginning to pick up just a bit. Westbound Vine from 8th Street out to Broad. You're slow than the Lace Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Southbound 95, Cottman Bridge heavy through construction. Again, delays Allegheny through Girard. Further south from 320 down to 322. Earlier construction cleared. Northbound side looks good. 42, 55, 295. Still a pretty good ride through South Jersey. Opening back up, you check the news, you check with your friends, you check your mask, but did you check your breath? Get Smart Mouth, the only mouthwash that provides 24 hours of fresh breath with just 2 rinses a day. Find Smart Mouth in the mouthwash aisle at CVS or get 20% off at smartmouth.com/radio. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD Radio weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Steven Sosna.
Happy Friday. We have one more real tough day of heat to get through today, so let's do it. Let's get through this heat and humidity. It's already out there this morning. Temperatures in the 70s and low 80s, headed up to 92 by lunchtime, feeling like around 100. This afternoon, baking hot, 97 degrees, feels like 105 to 110. Could have some isolated strong storms. Tonight, we'll see some isolated strong storms this evening, then drying out overnight, low temperature down to 76. As far as the weekend goes, Saturday looks like it'll be hot and humid, 90 degrees, but not as bad as today. Scattered strong storms in the afternoon. By Sunday, mostly cloudy, but less humid. High temperature in the lower 80s, some lingering showers at the shore. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Steve Sosna.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. You're listening to The Power Hour with Dwayne Royster and Mark Kelly Tyler. Great conversation with Deborah Way from the Zen Education Project, who leading teachers to fight against the exclusion of critical race theory and the teaching of race, racism, discrimination, and oppression from our schools across the nation. Hopefully, if you're a teacher out there listening to us this morning, you'll go to the website that Dr. Tyler put into the chat, www.zenproject.org. zenedproject.org, news, and pledge to teach the truth, and sign on to the pledge to make sure that you'll teach the truth to the young folk that are in your charge, from kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade, even into postgraduate years.
See, it's like Ike Turner saying, Tina Turner, we want to hear your story, but we don't want to hear anything about domestic violence.
Wow, that's deep.
That's what it is. It's like, don't talk about that part.
Right.
But if you don't talk about that part, you can't really understand her music and who she became.
Right. But when you deny somebody the ability to be able to speak their truth and to talk about fully who they are, you're actually continuing to perpetuate the abuse that they had in the first place by diminishing it and making it seem like it's not relevant to your experience.
Exactly. I mean, it's just, but again, in this country, again, bro, it is the most insane thing that a country that has been able to achieve really a lot, some remarkable feats in this country. I mean, space travel, the medical breakthroughs, just, I mean, a number of things that you can't deny. And then yet on some very basic things to think that we're also the same country that says, you didn't just see an insurrection. No, that was not an insurrection. That was a peaceful demonstration. No, what was an insurrection was Black Lives Matters with those protest signs. Those signs are dangerous. They have wooden posts at the bottom. They can hurt somebody. Unlike, so here's BLM protests that have killed like no police. This one kills a police officer and threatens the lives of others and wants to literally go out and execute congresspersons. But that's peaceful, and the other one is violent. This, man, I'm telling you, it is mind-boggling.
Well, we should also talk about the lingering effects of January 6th, too, right? It just wasn't that day. There were officers that have committed suicide since then, and there have been people that have killed officers on the Capitol since that time. I remember there was a guy that tried to drive through the barricade at this Senate building, and others, that have continued to manifest itself, right? So the psychological impact of January 6th insurrection, in addition to the lies that are being perpetuated by members of Congress themselves, I think it's just they're doing. It's actually they're literally trying to overthrow the mind of the country, not just the history, but the mind.
Well, it begins though. So if you can distance people from the truth of what really happened, then anything else is possible, right? So if you can convince America, white America in particular, that slavery was not a bad experience, that look, hey, these are just a couple of disgruntled people. Are we saying it wasn't bad in some places? Sure. You had some pretty evil and wicked owners, but by and large, most slaves were happy and docile and enjoyed the institution of slavery and benefited greatly. And if that is a story that you have been selling for 150 years, I mean, think about this. You can tell that story as a teacher and not lose your job in some of these places. But if you tell the truth about it, about what many of our families know and the family stories that have been passed down about the rapes, the abuses, the family separation, all of the torture and psychological abuse that we still live with, that gets you fired. Telling a lie gets you celebrated. Telling the truth gets you fired. There is probably nothing more American than that.
Oh, boy. Yeah, this is the fact that you just said there's probably nothing more American than that we are a country of liars. That's really what you just said.
Hey, we just had Donald Trump as president, bro.
Country is built on a lie.
We just had Donald Trump as president, and people wonder how. It's because he tapped into that. There are people who want, what was it in the Matrix, the red pill or the blue pill?
Oh, yeah.
And I never can remember which one is what. What'd you say?
I'm not sure, but it doesn't really make a difference. Right. I mean, reality is like which pill you take doesn't really make a difference.
All right. Sorry, Catfish Hillbilly. It is Feel Good Friday. Our bad. Catfish Hillbilly just signed the Zen Project pledge. I think that's a feel-good story because rather than teachers just sit back and take it, I love the fact that they're actually organizing.
Absolutely. I think it's the best way to, to go and to work. I mean, it would also be really helpful if school boards in this country actually signed on to teaching about race, racism, and critical race theory. I kind of chuckle when everybody talks about critical race theory. I'm like, actually, it's a legal construct, and most people don't even understand that. Like all these folk that are out there, we don't want critical race theory being taught in our schools. And I'm like, actually, critical race theory isn't being taught in your schools. It is the truth about American history that's being taught. Critical race theory is a legal construct. And that's all that it is. So I kind of chuckle with the whole thing. Because I'm like, the fact that people are saying it and then not really fully understanding it is even more problematic.
Well, let me just say this.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I know we got to go because we got to get out of here on time. But real quick, we need what the Passover is for our nation. Every year, we need a national gathering where we sit down with the children and tell them the truth about how we got over.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Black American Passover. I affirm that. Yes. Let me just say this before we get out of here. Just shout out to everybody that's fighting to teach truth to our children. We appreciate you and the work and effort that you are making. All right, everybody. Well, that is it for the Power Hour for this week. And we deeply appreciate each and every one of you coming to join us and to be here with us. We'll be back on Monday morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news happenings around Philadelphia and, of course, our opinions. Stay tuned now for Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. And family, do us a favor. Don't just listen. Go do. Take the information in and then go do something with it. And like I say every week, do us a favor. Go out, change the damn world. Because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I